Hello home bakers and welcome to Drmummycakes channel. Today I'll be sharing with you the highs and lows of making these gorgeous rice paper sails. I'll be sharing with you mistakes I made so that you don't make the same mistakes. I really hope that you'll try this at home. Just look at how gorgeous these rice paper sails are on my finished cake. They will give your cake extra finesse and they look so gorgeous. And they're not difficult to make at all. So this is one skill for home bakers to learn. Let's get started. Rice paper sails is made of rice paper. Rice paper is a common ingredient in some Asian cuisine, in particular Vietnamese cuisine. So you can get these in your local Asian shop. You'll also need some food colouring and some edible food dust, which I used in this case to paint the sails. I'll be showing you a couple of techniques that I used when making these sails. You'll also need a silicone mat. You're going to use this to fold into shapes to give your rice paper sail a shape. I also tried using greaseproof baking paper to see the difference. You'll also need a large bowl where you're going to put the water. It should be big enough to fit your rice paper sails without breaking. So here I'm folding the greaseproof paper into a shape, and this is the shape that I intended for my finished rice paper sail to look like. So I wanted to make a fan shape, so just fold it in the way that you want. I tried using paper clips to stabilize the pleats. So you'll see at the end whether or not this particular trick worked. And I also used my silicone mat, and again I'm folding it into shapes. You want to make it more like an organic shape, a bit of waviness, a bit of fluidity, as that's what I was aiming at, and you want to keep it secure. So here I use extra large paper clips, or if you have binder clips, you can also use this as well. And also one important tip to remember is that the shape that you fold your silicone is the shape that your rice paper sail will take. So you need a big bowl, a big shallow bowl to put some water. The bowl needs to be big enough to fit your rice paper and submerge it totally into the water. So here I'm using one of my square baking pan. I'm adding some gel food colouring into the water. If you have liquid food colouring, you can use this as well. I've just tried out different colour patterns, a little bit of purple, a bit of red, and a bit of blue. Once I was happy with my colour combination, I put the rice paper into the water, making sure it's fully submerged. You only want to put it in for about 30 seconds. Any longer and I found that it was so soft and very difficult to work. So don't leave it in too long. Some YouTube tutorials I watched said leave it in for a minute. When I did that, I found it very difficult to work with as it was so soft and folded on itself. So for a couple of seconds, max 30 seconds, and then take it out. If you find that it's not soft, put it back in again for a couple of seconds, take it out. So you can see here, it's softened a little bit, but not too soft. And what you want to do is start to fold it into the shape that you've created with either your silicone mat or in this case with the greaseproof paper. And as you can see, as I start to handle it, you can see that it's starting to get soft. So with this first one, I think I probably put it in for way longer than I would like. So it was a bit more difficult and challenging. So one mistake I made was leaving it for too long. I think next time I'd just put it in for maximum 15 seconds, take it out, and it'll be easier to work with. So remember, the shape is what you'll get at the end. So make sure that you're happy with that shape. And here it is. So the pleats have disappeared a little bit. I don't think that paper trick really worked, but we'll see how it looks like. Once you've created that, leave it to set. And here I just thought I'd add some extra pizzazz, and I dust some edible food dust on it to give it that gold effect. So here I'm making my second rice paper sail. So you can see submerging it totally in water, and this one I didn't let it stay in for too long before taking it out. And again, same as before, draping it over. This time I'm using my silicone mat and just draping it into my silicone mat where I formed the shape. Again, I had difficulty with the shape, so I had to start again and put it on the mat first and then folding. I think this way works better with the silicone because silicone is a bit more pliable. So next time round, I will just put it flat on the silicone mat and then form the shape that I want and then secure the mat. For the next rice paper sale, I thought I would try sprinkling the edible food dust directly into the water to see what effect that would have. So here I am just using a brush to just sprinkle some of the edible food dust into the water and then submerging the rice paper into the water. And you can see here, I learned pretty quick. I take it out almost straight away. So when I take it out, it's still hard enough and much easier to handle. So I'm draping it onto my prepared greaseproof paper. And I found this time around, it was much easier working with it because it didn't get soft too quickly. So I was able to create a shape that I was a little bit happier with. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope that you enjoy learning to bake with Drmummycakes easy to follow cake tutorials. And if you haven't subscribed, why not? Please click the subscribe button and turn off all notification buttons and join the tribe of home bakers learning to make amazing cakes and sweet treats. So here I finished folding the rice paper seal and I thought of an idea of wrapping it around an ice cream stick to try and create a sort of a handle to stick it into the cake. You'll see at the end that I found that this didn't really work quite well. And for a final touch, I'm just sprinkling and dusting some more gold edible food dust onto them. Once you've finished your rice paper cells, keep them in a safe place. You'll need them to dry. I let mine dry overnight. I think you need about 12 hours, if not more, to get them to dry. So this is the next day and they are dry. And I was really, really anxious about this bit because now I had to take it and carefully unwrap it from the parchment paper. In hindsight, I don't think using the parchment or greaseproof paper worked quite well for me. Because it was very, very well folded. And as you can see, as I started to take it out, it literally just broke on me because it was so tightly wound at the bottom. So again, be very careful the shape that you make. If you wind up too tightly, it's difficult to take it out. But I was still able to rescue it and I was quite pleased with the shape. It had a little bit of waviness, a little bit of abstract movement that I was looking out for, but it didn't really work out as well as I liked. You can see how difficult, and I'm really, really trying to take it out, but it's fracturing and splintering. So at the end, it wasn't a total waste, but I think with that one, it wasn't my finest. Here was a little bit easier because it was more loosely attached, and perhaps I learnt from the first one, so taking this one out was not so difficult. This is one of the ones that I sprinkled the edible food dust on, and I was very, very pleased with the effect. It looked very shimmery and shiny, so that worked out very well. And the colouring is also beautiful. You can see that it's purple. The purple is very light and subtle, and that's because the rice paper is translucent. If you really, really want a darker colour, you might need to add a lot more food colouring. But look at that effect. Nice wavy sail and very abstract. And I was very, very pleased with that. And I do think that using the paper clips did help give me that nice shape. So I'm very, very happy with this one. I haven't been able to show you the one I took out from the Silicone Mat because I forgot to press the record button, but that sprung out and came out quite easily. So the key thing is, don't wrap your shapes too tightly, otherwise it's difficult to remove. You want to have loose, nice, organic shapes. And look at my finished sails. I'm very, very, very pleased with my first attempt. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And just to add that finishing touch, I'm going to do a little bit of painting. And I used some edible food dust and also some sweet sticks AU ready prepared edible paint to create a sort of a bronze gold colour. I initially mixed the food dust with some rejuvenator spirit and mixed up my paint. If you want to know how to mix up edible paint, check out the video showing up at the top of your screen or look in the description section as well. The rice paper sails take very well to your edible food paint, so you can paint on a variety of designs. So this makes it even more versatile in terms of designing. And what I decided to do was just paint the edges of my rice paper sails to give it an added wow factor. I hope that you'll try this at home. It's a really great technique and the effect on your cake is so amazing. Everyone will go, wow, it makes your cake look so professional. There are a number of ways to add it onto your cake. You can put it on the top like a topper, just pressing it into your cake. Or if you want to put it on the side, here I've used it on my buttercream cake and I literally just press it gently into the side of the cake, making sure it's nice and stable, and voila, look at that effect. Absolutely gorgeous. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next week. Happy baking.